Welcome to the game of real estate. I'm your host, Jason Rash. I'm taking you on my journey from zero to $100 million in real estate sales. Let's go. Welcome back to the game of real estate. I am your host, Jason Rash, and this episode here is possibly one of the best that I'm going to be doing. I'm rolling solo in this episode, and I'm going to be looking down at my notes. So if you're driving in your car today, don't worry. It's going to sound as awesome as always. It's going to be liquid gold delivered right to your ears. But more importantly, if you're viewing me on YouTube, I am going to take a quick glance at my notes from time to time, so don't judge. I'm not a stand-up comedian, although I love stand-up comedy. Bill Burr is my favorite. I do have to look at my notes from time to time. So I want to talk about today about how to keep your head in the game. Now, this entire podcast, it's about real estate, but it's not really about real estate. This entire podcast is about how to build a $100 million business from nothing. I'm talking about nothing. No local sphere of influence, no paid ads, no really social media, because I couldn't use my social media, although I do have a large social media following. Thank you for everyone who follows me. Go to Jason Rash out there on any channel that you got, Facebook, Instagram, go there now. Anyway, starting from ground zero. And what I want to teach you is how to build a business, whether or not you're in the podcasting business, because I'm sitting in this podcast studio right now, or you're a baker or a real estate agent, or whatever kind of business you're trying to build. What I'm about to teach you is essential through all parameters of building any business whatsoever. If you could start that clock up there for me, that'd be great, Ben. Ben's in the studio today. Not Ben, excuse me, Christian's in the studio today, so you'll hear me possibly refer to him. So this thing I want to talk to you about this, first of all, is that this is quite possibly the most challenging thing I've ever done. My wife and I have built a multi-million-dollar business before, and it was hard. It was really, really hard, but it was me and her tag teaming it. Now, this right here, I'm not going to say it's solely me because it's not solely me. My wife, unbelievably supportive. I'm going to bring up her in this episode and her role in helping me build this business. But more importantly, like it has been on me to go out and get this thing started. So it's been far more challenging than I've thought. Now, if you're going to build a business, you got to know it's going to be challenging. If you're going to build a business out of nothing, it's going to be really, really challenging. But what I've discovered in this entire process is that it really comes down to how you react and respond. Again, while it is called the game of real estate, I'm teaching you how to build a business. Like this is just my personal philosophy on the experiences. I always build on past experiences and what it is going forward. Now, here's what I have learned. In life, you learn a couple of different lessons. When you're making a lot of money, far more than you've ever dreamed of, you learn who you truly are. Like you learn how you handle money, how you treat other people. And when you're running out of money, you learn a lot about yourself. How do you react? How do you respond? Do you go out and make it happen? Are you an earner, or do you go out and you're looking for pity party, or are you out there asking your mother and father for handouts? Like you really learn a lot who you are in these moments. But in the beginning of building a business, it's all about your mindset and the actions that you take. And that's what I want to talk about in this episode today. I want to be fully transparent with all of you listening. This is January, I'm going to look at my calendar here, January 23rd, 2025, as I'm recording this episode now. My last deal that I did, and nobody, by the way, is out there going to be transparent as I am about this. I just want to be very fully transparent here. The last deal that I closed was September of 2024, and we're talking about the beginning of September. I know some people will milk it, but I closed on September 30th of 2024. I closed my last deal right around the beginning of September. So you're probably thinking, Jason, what the hell are you doing with all your time? Because I'm working like all the time, but I can't seem to get the ball across the goal line. Now, for many people, they would have been discouraged, they would have been counted out, and they would have gone on and tried something else, but that's not me. And I want to talk to you about me and my personal resilience to stay in the game and to dominate, because I do believe better days are out in front of me. And if you're going to build a business, you got to know that better days are out in front of you. So here's the thing. Every day I get up every morning to swing the bat. Every single day I get up and I do the best that I can. Now, in between me closing in September, the last deal, and today, January 23rd, 2025, I've had some incredible losses. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, oh my God, like you're here. When I tell you the size of these losses, you're going to be like, how do you even stay in the game? So here's one loss I'd had, right? I was doing some cold call dials. I found a lady that owns some property in the neighborhood that I live in currently. She actually lives in another neighborhood, a far more upscale neighborhood. And this woman, I left a message on her answering machine, and she called me back. And she said, Jason, and this is a cold call, by the way. I'm talking a cold call, like an assassin dropping in. Like, that was cold. She wasn't even like wanting to sell a property. Like, I just want you to understand how cold. We're talking ice. You could knock the ice off this conversation. That's how cold this was. And I know some of you right now are like, that's too uncomfortable. I would never do that. I completely understand. It's going to be very hard, by the way, going forward for you if you're not going to be willing to do that. But anyway, I called this lady out of the blue, left a message. She calls me back about 3 hours later. Hey, I'm looking for Jason Rash, and my name is ba. Yeah, and I said, yeah, this is him. And she said, you called me about my property located at Bang. And I was like, yeah. Yeah, I called you about this property. And she said, I own a 1,000-person cybersecurity company and no one is willing to do what it is you're doing to generate new business. I had the thought right there. I'm like, okay, I'm onto something here. And she says, listen, I live over in bang, bang, bang. We're looking to do a remodel, maybe looking to do a tear down at our own property, or we may be looking to possibly build somewhere else within the community, but we don't want to leave this community. We love it. And this is a fantastic community, very, very high-end community. Number one, the fact that she called me back, she was impressed by my willingness to reach out to her. And that kept me going. I was like, oh my God, I'm on the right trail, right? So I found this property. I connected with the builder. We found a $4 million property. She wanted to buy it, and the seller, she was willing to sell it. At the time, she was willing to sell it. So we go through this process of trying to get the buyer that I have lined up to be able to view this property, this $4 million property. In the end, after multiple back and forth, we were not able to make it work. This would have been a $120,000 commission, just evaporated just like that. Painful. I still have the relationship with this lady, and she's fantastic, but that deal evaporated. But along the way, I made friends with one of the top agents in the area. He's great. He's fantastic. And me and him connected over Starbucks, and we had a conversation, and he was like, you're going to be great. You're going to kill it. I'd love to do some business with you. And this is important. This is where I'm going with this entire conversation. If you want to build any business, this is about building relationships. It's all about relationships. I think about this all the time going down the road as I'm driving. I'm like, where can I build another relationship? Another deal that evaporated for me. I had been doing an open house, an $8 million open house back in September of 2023. And I met this gentleman. He came through there and he works for a very, how can I put this without giving away his identity? He works for one of the premier soccer leagues in the world. I'm not going to tell you, like, one of the top soccer players in the world, it plays for this team. You would know his name. Rhymes with, Sonaldo. Yeah, it rhymes with Sonaldo. Anyway, point being, if you can figure it out from there. So he works like directly almost for the president of the company, of the soccer team. And me and him we just kept going and talking through text messages and things like that. He said he was looking for a property. I was trying to find him a property. Couldn't find something. I found something over here on Singer Island. And it was a really cool property. But I got the seller involved. I contacted the seller. My buyer wanted to buy this property. It was a $3 million potential deal. And I worked so hard on this deal, and in the end, it just wasn't going to work for my buyer, and that's okay. And it just evaporated, just like that. I was going to get 3% commission on the deal. That's $90,000 for all of you driving down the road right now. So now I'm like almost $200,000 in commissions just evaporated into thin air. I keep going. I've got another one that I was working on that was a $11 million deal, and it just evaporated. I got the buyer to the lot. We walked the lot. We looked at architectural plans, just evaporated, just like that. And the losses just continue to stack up. Again, it's these type of things that keep me going. I know it may sound sadistic and maniacal, but here's the thing about me. I'm all about swinging the bat. I am all about how far can I really go? How high can I really go? I'm like, if I'm talking to somebody who can buy an $11 million property, there's a really good chance they're worth about, like $300 million or more. If I'm talking to somebody who can buy a $3 million property, they're probably worth about $50, $60 million. If I'm talking to somebody who's, going to buy, that can buy a, $4 million property, they're probably worth about $30, $45, $50 million, right? Like, these are high level people. And it occurred to me in the moment, I'm like, oh my God, I am capable, I am worthy enough, and I have the capacity to play at the level that these people are involved in. And, I know that sometimes things come along in life and life becomes hard, but you have to understand there's two ways of looking at life. You're either hanging in there and holding on, or you're learning from every single loss along the way. I am in the latter camp. By the way, that is a positive outlook. I love losses because I learned something new about myself, about relationships, about the deal, all about real estate, and all about behavior. By the way, if you don't want to learn anything about me, I am addicted to human behaviors and communication. I truly believe that there is a breakdown in effective communication in this entire world, and I study it like every single day. The right words and the technology, and you leveraging the right words and tonalities at the right time, it can bring about some great things for you and your family. You're probably wondering why I'm snapping, is to keep your attention. And I'm talking to myself, and I'm also talking to you out there listening and watching. So here's the thing though, like along the losses, like every single inaction stresses me out. When I'm building a business and nobody's calling my phone, I get stressed out. When I'm building a business and I'm not getting leads come in, I get stressed out. I'm like, oh my God, nobody is calling me. Like, what is happening right now? Is my socials not working? Did my dials not work? Or I'm expecting some responses through emails? Nothing. That stresses me out. And maybe you're at the point where you're at in building a business and you're starting to see the money go down in your account, and maybe you get stressed out. Maybe inaction is stressing you out. You're like, oh my God, I got to find a way to get in leads. And we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. I got to find a way to get leads in. But I get stressed out whenever no one's returning my phone calls and I'm not getting any inbound calls. And that as the losses pile up, the worst part in all of this is that you know deep down that you have what it takes to be unbelievably successful, but you just don't know how to get it. That's the hardest part that I discover with most people trying to build a business. They had a vision once before, and then all of a sudden it gets muddled and confused and they get piled up with excuses and losses and like, maybe this isn't going to work for me. Maybe this isn't going to work out for me. And what I want to encourage you is I want to encourage you to keep going. Like you either have motivation or you don't. This is not something you find on a podcast or an Instagram post. Like you either have it or you don't. It's like, I used to be in a band. A little thing about me is I had a record deal back in the day. I wrote 15 albums in 7 years. I played guitar. And one thing I will tell you about band is being in a band, like a rock band, is this. And by the way, I had a signed deal. I bought my CD in Best Buy. So that's the level. I'm not talking about I just played in somebody's garage. I had a record deal. I went on tour. I could buy my CD in Best Buy. Had a distribution ship with Sony Records. Like it was a big deal. What I can tell you is this. There's only 2 people in the entire band that cannot be replaced. 2 individuals. If you're talking about a 4-piece band, we got a singer, you got a bass player, you got a guitar player, and a drummer. 2 of those people cannot be replaced. That's the drummer and the singer. You cannot teach somebody to play on beat. You cannot teach them no matter how hard you try. Yes, there's a little bit of skill that comes with it, but it's 99.9% talent. You're either born with it or you got it or you don't. The same thing with the singer. You cannot hear in key. You just cannot sing in key. Like you have to have it or you don't. And the same thing is with entrepreneurship. Like you either have it or you don't. Like you have motivation or you don't. You don't need your kids to look at your kids. Yes, you do need a deep why. And we're going to talk about it here in a second. But what you need is you need to have internal motivation and drive. And I'm going to talk about how to find that. Maybe you have it, but you don't know where it's at. Maybe you have it, but you don't know how to repeatedly tap into it to keep you going through the hard times. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. The one thing that I want to actually emphasize in all of this, whenever you're building a business, and I have to do this too, as I'm building this business along the way from 0 to 100 million in sales, is an unbelievable amount of faith. Like I always ask God, like, am I on the right track? And it's always a resounding yes. It's always yes. The answer is never no. The answer is never maybe. It is yes. Now, my approach to how I'm going to get there could be a little bit different, but I have never prayed harder in my entire life than I did whenever I started building in real estate. Like it's been unbelievably challenging. Like I opened up this entire thing. It's been harder than I ever thought it was going to be. I thought that my Instagram and Facebook following combined of 50,000 followers was actually going to get me somewhere. Turns out nobody in my audience was actually looking to move to South Florida, at least the area that I'm in, Palm Beach County. And nobody was actually going to refer anybody. They haven't referred anybody. And this is the thing about it. Like I literally started from nobody having a social media. Sure, social media is great, but I also learned from my wife because she had to tell me this over and over. I got a thick head. You kind of got to tell me a couple of times. We've been married 20 something years. I learned that like my social media wasn't actually going to bring me leads, that it was more or less an online business card for people to get to know who I am personally, listening to my voice, listening to my style, and listening to my cadence. They know that I'm a fast talker. If you're listening to this right now, chances are you're probably not going to listen to this in 1.5 speed. I actually take pride in that because my mind is actually going two times faster. But here's the thing, like I have had more faith, like I have asked God more and more to show up for me. And he has. He has. I don't know what it is you believe in, but I believe in God and I believe that he shows up. I believe, and by the way, I just want you to know something. Whatever it is you're trying to sell, whether it's podcast sessions, or whether you're a baker, whether you're a real estate agent, whether you're selling lumber, whatever it is, whatever business you start, that vision came from God. And I want to encourage you to lean into that because the same God that gave you the vision is the same God that's going to bring the clients to you, guaranteed. Are you taking the right actions? I don't know. Let's talk about those right actions to bring those people forward for you. The one thing I want to leave you with this on the faith part. My wife has started listening to a lot of worship and praise music around the house. When I first started this and I realized this was going to be much harder than I thought it was going to be, I started listening to this artist named Forrest Frank. He's got a song called God is Good. And it's like a hip hop rap song. It's super cool actually. And it reminds me how good God is. It's a great song. If you've never heard it, go out there and check it out. It turns out I cannot play a sample of this because I haven't gotten written express permission from the artist. So that would be a copyright infringement. I was going to open up this podcast with it, but I cannot do that. So Forrest Frank, wherever you're at, I would love to give you a shout out thank you for keeping me going. So here's the thing. Before I tell you the how to do this, I want to talk about the 3 W's. I like to call it the 3 W's. It's your why, your wall, and your work. I want to talk about the why. You hear this all the time. Like you have to have this before you get started. The first one is the why. So if you're driving on the road right now, listen really close to me. If you're on the YouTubes right now and you're watching my face, this is how serious this is. Like, number one, you got to have a why. You have to have a why. I've heard some cliche stuff out there like your why's got to make you cry. I don't believe in any of that stuff. I don't believe that, but I do think that you need to have a why. You got to have a reason of the pain and the suffering that you're going to go through. Like, will you, like for instance, if I'm in a building and my son is in the building across, or any family member that I love dearly is in a building across the street, and the street is covered in broken glass and that building is on fire, I will run across that street naked through broken glass to get my family members out of it. That is an incredibly big why. And if you're going to build a business and you want to be successful, you kind of got to have about that same level of a why. So first thing is my supportive wife. My wife, she picks me up when I am down. You got to have somebody in your corner. You have to. You can't go this alone. I'm going to be honest with you. You cannot go this alone. All those people you read about, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, all these people, they all had somebody. Jeff Bezos, he had McKinsey Scott. He does have Lauren Sanchez now, which I saw Mark Zuckerberg actually got busted looking at her boobs in the state capitol during the inauguration. However, I'll go back and digress. But Jeff Bezos did have McKinsey Bezos in the house. But you got to have somebody who's standing in your corner that believes in you, that's willing to help you to get through. Because what happens is whenever you have somebody standing in the corner with you, they see things that you're not privy to. There's that old saying that says you can't see the forest for the trees because your face is right up against the tree and you're staring at the bark and you can't see all the other opportunities are out in front of you, whereas somebody who's not so knee deep in the weeds could see something. My wife has this unbelievable power, like unbelievable intelligence, I would call it, that I do not possess. I don't think most men possess this. It's called women's intuition. Anyway, she's got this intelligence where she can see what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to get it through actions and hard work. And she can be like, hey, why don't you do this instead? Literally no effort, all magic. Poof, just like, and then all of a sudden a new way appears. You need those people in your corner that can see around corners for you. My other why in this was when I first started and I was selling luxury real estate, my wife was picking up luxury real estate magazines here in the Palm Beach area. And it occurred to me that I really love real estate because we're real estate investors. We own 15 properties and I love sales. We'd run a large sales organization making millions of dollars. I thought about bringing this together. Like, oh my God, I could do real estate sales. No problem. It'd be easy. So my wife had been getting these luxury magazines before I started selling real estate. And I started flipping through there. And I realized as I flipped through there and I saw these huge names in real estate in the area, I'm talking about these people were putting up hundreds of millions of dollars in real estate, like astounding numbers by themselves. They really have a team behind them, but by themselves, I was like, they ain't got nothing that I don't have. There's nothing that they have that I don't have. And then I went for it. That's my why. That is my why. That I can do that. I can do what they've done. And this isn't a put down on them or any of their hard work or knocking anything that they've ever accomplished or done. I just know what I'm capable of. And you have to know what you're capable of too. If you're going to build any type of business from $0 to $100 million in sales, you have to know deep down what your why is. So whenever I feel down and out, whenever I don't have a lead, call me back. Whenever I think a deal is out there and it just evaporates out of thin air, guess what? There's people out there that have done more than me, that have experienced the same thing, and they have kept going. And that gives me the power and the strength to keep going. Again, this is about your actions and your mindset. Like the only reason you don't have what you want in life is only just due to your actions and mindsets. I don't care what it is you're doing, whether or not you're trying to win the CrossFit games or you're trying to bake a perfect pie for your daughter or trying to whatever it is you're trying to do. I don't know why I'm stuck on cakes. Maybe I'm just craving some cake or something. I don't know. I had a bunch of ice cream last night. But what I can tell you is it doesn't matter what any kind of business you do. You know, I did I thought I was going to do a deal the other day. I want to tell you about it. As I sip out of my fully recyclable paper cup here of water, of ozonated water. What world are we living in? You know, I cold called the lead, and this guy, he picked up the phone and he was very direct, very, very direct. He was like, this is what I'm looking for. Bang, 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 bang. And now I cold called this lead. And so I had to go find this information, and I called him back and I gave him this information, and he was even more direct to me. I'm not going to say he was being abrasive because I uncovered on this second call that was just his style of communication. And that's okay. That's okay. And there's a reason why for that. It turns out this guy was a billionaire. I had no idea. But unbelievable. He's got a really good heart. After I got to know him a little bit, he's got a really great heart. But here's the thing. We made an offer on a house. We offered $9.6 million for this property. And, you know, that's an incredible commission. Like, just do the math on that. That's an incredible commission. And we didn't get the deal. And what I want you to take away from this is you're going to swing big for the fences. It's best to try to pull your emotions out of this. I knew going into this that I should pull my emotions out of this, but I got swept up, right? I got a little swept up too. What could this do for me? What could this do to help me grow my business? How much advertising could I buy with a commission like this, to grow my business? And the deal fell flat. And needless to say, I was crushed. I was crushed. I mean, we're talking like, I think the commission would have been like $35,000 if I do the rough math, just in one deal like that, just poof, evaporated. But I keep going, right? I kept going. And I think about this. This is the moment whenever I was like, okay, I was crushed. I'll to be honest with you, I give myself a little bit of a pity party. That's okay. That's okay. For a second there, I thought about it. And then I just had this revelation. I said, oh my God, I made friends with a billionaire. I made friends. I got started I turned it around in my head. Poof, I just turned it around. I was like, okay, the commission the sale didn't go through. Totally fine. And poof, I turned it around. Okay. It was that watershed moment for me. And this just happened a few weeks ago, by the way. It's a watershed moment that I have what it takes to hang with billionaires. I can talk to billionaires multiple times throughout conversations, multiple times through email. I can communicate in the style, at the level that they can appreciate and they can assimilate and that can engage them because they're super busy. They got all this stuff flying all over the place in their private jets. I can engage them long enough to get them to show up at a property, not one property, but two properties. We actually looked at two properties. One was 10.5 million. The other was 13.5 million in one of the most prestigious neighborhoods in all of South Florida. And that was a watershed moment for me. Now, and I know some people are like, oh my God, that's a loss because you're focused on the wrong thing. You got to be focused on the right thing. And knowing that's going to give me more opportunities to come down the line. I'm sitting here looking at myself in the mirror, Christian, not the mirror, but the little camera here. And I went to acupuncture yesterday. I'm just calling this out because it keeps reflecting. I've got these things in my ear, these gold things. My wife told me about it when she went a few weeks ago, but I keep seeing it like flicker in the light. And so if you're watching this on YouTube and you see a flicker, I've got like pieces of gold in my ear from acupuncture. They're called ear seeds is what she's telling me. So I've got these things. If you're riding on the road, obviously, clearly you're not going to see it, but I wanted to call it out. Like, what has he got in his ear over there? That's what it is. It's not like an earring or anything, but if you're riding down the road, check out the YouTube video. Yes, to calm my nervous system is what she says. That's the first one. The first one is the why. So you have the 3 W's. The first one is the why. The second one is the wall. Like, what are you running from? What do you never want to go back to? Maybe it's a bad relationship. Maybe it's a relationship where you felt like you didn't have control. Maybe it's a situation or time whenever you feel like you couldn't provide for yourself or for your family. And this is I'm just giving you my wall. My wall is my wife and I came from the trailer park. Kristen, do you have that photo that I sent Ben, by the way, of me and my wife pointing to the trailer? Like, we came from the trailer park in Montgomery, Alabama. Think about this for a moment. And I had this thought the other day. I am from a city called Wetumpka, Alabama. You've probably never heard of it. There's only 2 things that ever came out of there. Me and Channing Tatum's grandfather. And Channing Tatum does go back every now and then. And that's how, we got 4 stoplights. I never want to go back there. But more importantly, I never want to go back to the trailer park. Like, there's times like this when I felt stuck. I felt alone. Well, I didn't feel alone because I had my wife, but I felt stuck. I felt like our life was never going to move ahead. I felt like we were never going to move forward. But it was the moment that our daughter was born that I realized I will never raise my daughter here in this trailer park. I will do everything I can. I will do everything I can to get my daughter out of here. Did you find it, Christian? It's okay. It's in the email to Ben. You can pull it up. It's me and my wife standing out there. And I swore to myself that, and I didn't realize it at the time, but that was my why. That was my why. It was one singular focus toward one proven objective. I will make enough money to exit this trailer park and never come back. I will never come back to this. Never come back to this. But I still have dreams about it. I've made millions of dollars with my wife. We made millions of dollars. And I still have dreams of going back to the trailer park. Now, I know that that's not going to happen. But I'm just saying, like I have dreams that is my wall. That is the number one wall. There it is right there. There it is right there. Like if you're watching on the YouTube right now, like that is the trailer that me and my wife grew up in. And that's not grew up, but that's where we got married. That's where we met. We lived there for 5 years, 6 years. And it was, while it was great for a time, it turned to the trailer on the right-hand side turned into a drug den. They were cooking meth out of there right after my daughter was born. And right across the street, which you can't see, was a prostitution ring, girls coming in and out. And I was like, if you've ever wanted a big why in your life, God's going to put the right thing in front of you to get you moving. God's going to put the right thing in front of you. And that right there is where we came from. It's inside that trailer park. I raised my daughter right there in that front bedroom for a few years. What an incredible why. Like, that's what you got to find. If you want to build a business to $100 million, and look, don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. Like, you really want to go big. Like, you really do. Nobody wants to settle for making $100,000 a year or $50,000 a year. Like, you want to go big. If you're going to do this thing, you're going to go big. If COVID taught us anything, life is short. You could be taken out by a virus. Like, God forbid that you still have more dreams and opportunity and potential inside of you, and you just give up. and you just give up, or you're erased off this planet early. Like, go big. Go big. That's the why. Second wall that I have, first wall was a trailer. The second wall I have is I saw my father die and pass away with nothing. And this is just not an option for me. This is just not an option for me. I saw him pass. It wasn't through mismanagement of money. It was just the fact that he just passed away with nothing. It was an unfortunate series of events. And I swore to myself, I will make as much money for my family as possible because I'm an earner. And if you're riding down the road right now or you're watching this right now, I want you to repeat it to yourself. I'm an earner. Like, say it like you mean it. I'm an earner. Like, I'm an earner. Go out there and earn that money for your family. Somebody calling me right here. We're going to just send them the voicemail. Let's go. If not, they're going to just bing my phone. Like, you're an earner. So that's my wall. I've got my why. I've got my wall. And what's the next thing? I've got the work. Like, okay, so what does it take to get to 100 million? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm stepping into a new vertical I've never done. I've never done real estate sales before just a year ago. 18 months ago, and never done real estate sales. But guess what? The work, boom, instantly. I said, whatever it takes, God, whatever you need from me to get to $100 million in sales, to prove it to myself that I can do it, I'm there. I'm already mentally there. You see, most people, what I discover whenever it's people start off into a workout plan is they just don't want to like expend the amount of energy. And some other people, whenever they're building a business, let's say like a network marketing business, or they want to start another business with I'm going to say a lower barrier of entry. You're not buying like a franchise, like hundreds of thousands of dollars of fees. It's a lot of people just do not want to put in a lot of time into something if they don't feel it's going to work. And the only way it's going to work is if you put the energy into it. The only way it's going to work is if you put the energy into it. Like real estate, like the barrier of entry is, okay, you got to pass this exam. Congratulations. You can go sell real estate. Boom. That's it. Most people can pass the real estate exam with enough studying. It's the work. It's the work. Like, what is it going to take from you to get to that? Like, I'm sitting here looking at Christian. Christian, what does it take to like run this podcast studio? Like, talk to me.
Flexibility. Can you be more specific? Like,
how much work are you working here? Like, how many hours here at the office and at home are you doing? By the way, you live with the other producer here.
Yeah. So between Ben and I, we're working pretty much all the time. I mean, we have obviously time off on the weekend, stuff like that. Yeah. But I mean, scheduling people, talking to clients, dealing with leads, you know, it's a full-time thing.
Yeah. I mean, but you're committed to it.
Absolutely. I love it. I wouldn't want to do anything else.
Right. Can you see a scenario to where you just like, you know what, another podcast studio moved in next door and they're crushing us, I'd give up?
No.
You can't see that, can you?
No.
They're a boring competitor.
We're that podcast studio.
Yeah. He's like, we're that podcast studio. I love it. I love it. So immediately, like, you got to commit to the work. The second thing is like if you commit to the work's going to get you out of bed. The work's going to get you out of bed. Listen, you're not working for a paycheck. No, if you're starting a business, you're not working. You're building a career. You're building a business. You're building something. It takes a lot of energy to get this thing off the ground. So those are the 3 W's. Write this down. You got your why, and it's got to be something unbelievably powerful. It's got to get you through the shit. I don't cuss a lot on my shows, but I'm telling you right now, your why has to get you through the shit. It has to, because you're going to have days when you don't think that this is that you don't think you're worthy of doing X, Y, Z, or you don't think you're worthy of getting that client. Or you don't think like, oh my God, what are they going to think of me if I cold call them? Or what are these people going to think of me if I send them a 7th email and they have never responded back to me? Who cares? Do it. Like, you're going to have to know, like, your why. Well, I got to put food on the table, so I'm going to send them that email. In fact, I'm probably going to one up and I'm going to send them a voice text, a video text. I'm going to be, hey, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. Right? Like, what is your why? It's got to get you through it. And your wall, what is your wall? Like, what is your wall? What are you running from? What do you never want to go back to? What do you never want to go back to? And the next thing is the work. What is the work that you're willing to do? How much are you willing to do? Like, how much? Really? Like everybody's got a level. Am I willing to work 100 hours a week? I don't know. But am I willing to work 90? Probably. So if I'm willing to work 90, I'm probably going to push all the way to 100. So here's how you do this. Here is how you build a business from 0 to $100 million in sales. I'm going to tell you exactly how to do this. Look, and before we start this entire thing, just write this down, because I want you to understand something. If you're anything like me, you probably want somebody to come along and tell you the exact thing to do to help you create more success and exactly when to do it. I'm going to talk to you about that here. So, and as I look at my notes here, when I first started this, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just throwing out whatever on social media. I didn't really know, if I'm being very honest with you. I knew like maybe possibly I should hold open houses. Didn't really know what to do with the leads. Didn't really know how to make leads inside the open house. And, you know, it comes through reps. But overall, I created a system. The system saved my sanity. Like, if you don't know what to do, and you're trying to build a business, you're going to go crazy. You're going to go crazy. So you have to create some sort of a system that's going to save your sanity. And here's the thing. So first thing I want you to do is think about this. You have to have leads, no matter what. You don't need more product knowledge on your stuff. Like Christian doesn't need to know how to work the boards a little bit better over here at the podcast studio. Ben doesn't need to know how to plug in the stuff or use the software better. No, they need leads. They need to be out there on that corner, whatever it takes, and handing out flyers, going to every single business, door to door to door to door to door. And they need to come up with a marketing plan, a way to do this. Okay, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., every single day, since we're in a high density area, we could walk to hundreds of businesses here. We're going to do this every single day for a month. Are you guys doing that, by the way? You ain't doing that? We do sporadically, but not consistently. Bro, look, don't make me coach you on this call right here, man. Don't make me coach you on this call. Listen, like that's what I'd be doing. Like if I had empty slots throughout the day, I'm like, damn, I could put like 10 more clients throughout the weekend. Boom, I'd be hitting up every single business. I'm not telling you how to run your business, but I'm just saying that's what I would be doing. I would be doing it consistently. Christian's not liking that right now. Hey, Ben, if you're listening to this right now, brother, you slacking a little bit. You boys need to pull it in. Pull it in, man. Pull it in. So I knew, for instance, whenever I started this business, I needed to do open houses. I had to do open houses. I had to get in the stream of the people that the consciousness of the people that are already wanting to buy my product. Where are the people at right now that are already in the stream of consciousness that could be possibly thinking about buying your product? When I tell you that, you're like, oh my God, an open house sounds exactly right? And nobody who's just like, you know what, I ain't got nothing to do today. I have zero intention of buying a house anytime in the next 25 years. I'm just going to go to an open house just to waste some time. There's not a lot of people out there like doing that because everybody's busy right now. The second thing I did was like I got to directly connect with people. Of course, social media is great, but if that person is not online that day and they don't see my stuff, poof, they don't see my stuff. So how do I directly connect with people? I dial them. I cold call them. So I called FSBOs, and then I called for sale by owners, and I called expired listings. I wanted to go directly to the source. The third thing I did was I did in-person networking. The reason I'm telling you this is because in-person networking, like it leads to business eventually down the road. I just got a call yesterday from a lady that wants to list her house, a brand new listing, $1 million listing right there, poof, just out of the thin air. And the fourth thing I did, I had paid leads. Listen, here's the thing. It's very hard to be poor when you have leads banging down your door. And I know there's people out there right now that are saying, I would never call somebody. I could never call somebody. I know this because I work in an office in an industry of people that would never call. I talk to real estate agents all over the country and they're like, I could never call somebody. I could never call somebody cold call. Like if they're not wanting my business, I can't call them. They need to call me first. I'm like, listen, that's not how I roll. If they call me, that's a great bonus, but I am not going to build a business predicated on the fact I am waiting for inbound leads to come to me. That's not going to work for me. You're not going to build a great business like that. You might have a business, but you're not going to have a real business. I'm talking a business that gets to $100 million in sales in like 20 years. So with that said, like what do you got to do? So I did paid leads. I'm trying to control the levers here. How do I get leads? Like the number one thing, if you're building a business, you have to have leads. It's not more product knowledge. It's not more, whatever it may be. It's leads. Where are these people at? How can you communicate with these people? How can you reach these people? How can you get in the spot geographically that puts you right in front of the individual that's already in the stream of consciousness of buying your product? How can you do that? How can you do that? That is the biggest question that you should walk away from because it doesn't matter. You can have all the technology in the world. This is a $7,000 computer right here. $7,000. It's not going to do anything to generate more leads for me. I think people get caught up in this misnomer like I'm going to buy all this fancy equipment. I'm going to become the best dentist in town. Like I know people that are in the dentist industry that can't market the business. There are people in the chiropractic business. They're like, oh my God, I'm going to learn how to crack a back better. Speaking of which, I need to kind of crack my back here. I need to learn how to crack a back better and I'm going to get more business. No. You might get a little bit of word of mouth referrals and that's great, but that takes time. Like you need to go to where these people are at. I cannot stress this enough. You'll never get to your goals if you don't have enough leads. And that was part of what happened earlier in the story when I told you we made the $9.6 million offer. I didn't have enough leads. I wasn't talking to enough people. I put too much energy on one person. And this is what you got to think about in your own business. Do you have enough balls in the air? Do you have enough balls in the air? And do you have that? If you're watching this right now, yeah, it looks kind of funny. Looks a little funny. Get your head out of the gutter, Christian. But this is the thing. And I want to stress one thing to you. Leads are not transactional. These are relationships. Some of them may convert now. Some of them may convert later. Like, so in real estate, it's a long game. It's a very, very long game, but it has a very high lucrative, you can build a great lifestyle, a great business out of real estate if you're in the right area. And here's the thing. You have to build relationships. I think now with the rise of the internet, I don't want to speak to real estate specifically. With the rise of the internet, anybody can go find what it is they're looking for. All right, I want a 3-bedroom house. I want 2 beds here. I want something on the water. It's got to be built by this year. It's got to be this type of construction. I want single story only. It's got to have a pool. Like, they can filter down and find exactly what they want, set themselves up on alerts. They can have that. But it's a person on the other end. Like, who are you as a person? Like, these people that are playing at a high level, like a really, really high level, billionaires, ultra millionaires, hectomillionaires, people that have $10 million, $20 million, $50 million, even $1 million, even under $1 million, $500,000. These people that are buying these homes, anybody really, they want to know who's on the other end. I think it's about the character of the individual. Like it's about the quality of the relationship. So when you're doing this, and I'm speaking specifically to real estate area here, the biggest challenge that I have discovered, I have a lot of leads, is that you have to create enough engaging messaging that has to be unique enough to speak to every single person. You can't automate this. You got to create enough engaging information for them to open the email. And you have to speak to everybody in their unique way. Additionally, you have to stay present in front of them long enough and engage with them long enough that when they are ready to buy and that buying window opens, it's a no-brainer for them to call you. That's how this game works. Basically, like, you're dancing in front of them until they're like, okay, all right, I'll take you. I don't mean it like that, but I mean, that's just about as simple as I can make it. Bringing value along the way the whole time. So you got to think about yourself. How are clients connecting with you? How can future clients connect with you? You know, some days I strike out. I don't have anything happen. I do a lot of emails. I do a lot of calls. I do handwritten cards. I do a lot of different stuff, a lot of networking events. And some days I walk away with nothing. I didn't make a penny that day. And that's sales. That's sales. But some of the times the next day, I've discovered that whenever I'm like, God, man, I just really don't know if I'm moving the needle. Guess what happens? I get an email, or I get a phone call, or I get a text that says, hey, can you send me more information about X? And I'm like, this is great. I emailed this person 5 times and they never responded. And then I sent them another email. Boom. It was just like, holy cow. They opened the email and they actually responded. You know, most of the times whenever you're doing a business and people don't respond to you, it's not about you. If you have not specifically and intentionally tried to upset them, chances are it's not about you. Chances are they're just busy. They're either too busy or they don't want your product. Your product does not rank high on their threshold of priorities inside their own mind. But you do possibly need to continue to deliver value every time you have a communication with them. So for instance, like with this podcast studio, they have a networking event coming out. Like, I would personally be messaging anybody and everybody who's a current client, past client, could be a future client, put it on social media, say we're having a networking event. Everybody's invited here. Like, that's what I would do personally. I'm not telling you how to do your job, Christian. I'm just telling you, like, this is what I would do personally. But I'm just throwing this out here. You know, and look, here's the thing. If you got to change your life, change your life. I knew I had to change my life. I was working out in the middle of the day. And so what I did was right at the first of the year, I was like, bam, I read this book called 12-Week Year. It's literally taken an entire year and crush it down into 12 weeks. And it's an incredible book. If you've never read it, you got to read it. By far one of the most, I'd say, impactful books that I've recently read, next to Don't Give Your Enemy a Seat at the Table. I literally was like, oh my God, I'm spending 2 hours a day going to the gym and lunch, and then I'm having to get back in the zone. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to put my workout at the very beginning of the day. So that's what I did. I just started getting up at 5:45 and hitting the gym. Instead of going to the gym at 11:30 a.m., I started now go to the gym at 6:30 a.m. You know, it took a little bit, the first couple of days it sucked. I'm not going to lie to you. It was not fun. But guess what? What do you want more? Do you want to sit in your stagnation and feel stuck the whole entire time? Or do you want to get the hardest thing out of the way first and the first of the day? Because there's not a lot that's going to come my way that I can't take. My workouts are pretty hard. I get my heart rate to like 170. I'm 47 years old. I know. You don't have to tell me. I know I look good. I know I do. I'm teasing here. Totally teasing here. But I do know I can run circles around people that are half my age. I do know that because I see them in the gym and I'm like, damn, son, you're like 23. Like you, I'm 47, man. What are you doing? Like, come on, let's go. Let's get those 20 pull-ups in. Let's get those 50 push-ups in. Like, let's go. Like, how bad do you want it? And at the end of the day, here's the thing. Most businesses go out of business because they don't sell products, quantities great enough at prices high enough. So you got to get out there and you got to make sales. How do you make sales? You get leads. How do you get leads? You stay consistent and you stay in the game. How do you get consistent and stay in the game? You have to have a big why. How do you have a big why? You already know what you want. You already know what you're willing to conquer. You're ready to take the action. You already have the great mindset. Nothing's going to knock me out of the zone. There's literally nothing that can come along and it's going to talk me out of my deal. In fact, since I'm selling real estate down here in Palm Beach, I see the opportunities now are even greater than when I first started. So my wife and I are selling our real estate properties. We're selling our real estate properties so that I can focus more on selling real estate. Like, that's how committed I am. And if you're committed, I promise you God's going to show up. If you're committed, the universe will eventually crack open and deliver you to your dream. And that's the entire purpose of this podcast. How do you build a $100 million business? Are you dreaming big enough? Do you have a big enough why? Do you really believe it's possible? If you don't think $100 million is possible, try to build $1 million. But if you eventually start going in those directions, you'll start thinking like, okay, we got to fix this. I got to tweak this. I got to do that. I got to do this. I got to do that. You're going to have tweaks along the way. Just because it hasn't happened for you yet, or you can't see the full vision, like Martin Luther King Jr. said, you ain't got to see the whole vision. All you got to do is see the first step. That's it. That's it. The first step. The first step. I dreamed big right out the gate. I was going to I'm going to do 100 million. Boop, done. So what did I do? I reached out to a builder and he put me in an $8 million open house. I was like, I've never been in an $8 million house, but I'm going to walk into it, act like I belong here, and I'm going to sell this thing over and over and over and over again. And I'm going to share a story that came out of that open house that's leading to a closing of $5.6 million in a next episode, future episode down the road. But you got to dream big or you're never going to get it. You got to dream big or you're not going to. And I'm not sitting here to be like some motivational speaker. That's not who I am. But I am trying to deliver this with passion to you. I want to deliver this passion to you because I have struck out so many times. I came from the trailer park, the dirt of Alabama, right next to a meth lab, right across the street from a prostitution ring. If anybody can do it with no contacts, with no college degree, with no pedigree or nothing, just strictly hard work, a vision and focus and determination, and not willing to be distracted by all the stuff that everyone else is distracted by, you can do it. I'm going to leave you with this. My mother called me up the other day and talked to me, and she said, "Are you okay?" I said, "What's going on, Mom?" "Yeah, of course I'm fine. What's up?" And she's like, "I haven't seen you on social media lately." And I'm like, oh, God. Oh, my God. I was like, if you're looking for a red flag from anything, like, that was a red flag. Hey, you need to start getting out on social media more. I've been behind the scenes working my face off to get to $100 million. And sometimes that's what helps. Sometimes that's what it takes. You got to step away from social media. You got to step away from the public spotlight. You got to step away from the grind, from the scrolling and the distractions and all the stuff. Sometimes God calls you to say, hey, listen, you got to drop that bad habit that you got going on. Whatever it is, you got to drop it. You got to drop it. I used to, I love this drink called Chido. And I love it. It's great. I drink one. It's like tequila and like fruit juice or something like that. It's not very sugary. It's a great drink. I love it. I was drinking one a night whenever I was grilling. And, I am a very disciplined individual. Probably one of the most disciplined individuals that I know. And I was like, you got to get a handle on this. So I stopped. I drink like I give myself time on Friday and Saturdays. That's it. I can have one on Friday, one on Saturday. And that's it. It wasn't because I was like waking up like hungover or anything like that, but I was waking up to the point where I wasn't feeling 1,000% ready to go. Was I 100%? Yeah, but was I 1,000%? No. And I was like, okay, I probably got to dial this back a little bit. I have this thing with ice cream. I love ice cream. Love it. I won't bring it in my house. Like Leo Tazu said 10,000 years ago, know thyself. I know me. I know who I am. I know what I want. And you got to know what you want. So God may be calling you right now to remove those distractions out of your life. Maybe you got to get those right before you can build that business. I want to encourage you to do that. A year from now, you'll wish you had started today. I promise you it may be painful today, but you're going to have to start at some point. My name is Jason Rash. I want to close this podcast out with, I know this probably wasn't the most compelling video to watch on YouTube. I didn't have any graphics. I didn't have any swooshings. I didn't have any sound effects. They may put that in afterwards. I didn't have any of that stuff. It was just me. It was just raw and it was delivered. If in your car, you just got a great episode. But I want you to know that, like I said it earlier, the same God that gave you the vision to start your business, whatever it is, the exact same God that will deliver the clients to you. Let me know how your business is going. Feel free to Instagram me. Hey, Jason Rash, feel free to shoot me a DM on Facebook. Feel free to comment. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, Jason Rash on Instagram, on X too. I'm over there as well, wherever you're at. And feel free to leave a 5-star review. I would greatly appreciate it. I would love to know what you're going through. I'd love to know how I can help you in your business. I'd love to know what your business is. Take care. God bless and have a wonderful day and get out there and crush it. Let's go. That's a wrap for this episode, The Game of Real Estate. Remember, this game rewards those who stay in it to win it, and I'm here to keep you ahead of the competition. If you're feeling pumped and ready to make your next big move, hit that follow button so that you never miss an episode. And hey, Don't just listen, share this podcast. Screenshot this episode, post it to the stories, and tag me at Jason Rash. Go ahead and do that now for a repost and a personal shout out. This is the game of real estate where winners are made, deals are closed, and the hustle never stops. I'll see you back on the field next time. Game on. Let's go.